2023 has been an awesome year for gaming. Honestly, between the Metroid Prime Remake and Resident Evil 4 Remake, we have been getting spoiled with these Nintendo GameCube classics. That's right, for any of you who forgot, Resident Evil 4 was supposed to be an exclusive release only on the GameCube. When I saw the review trailer for the Resident Evil 4 Remake, I was genuinely excited. I was once again going to relive the horror thrill ride that I cherished when I was a kid. Now, I wasn't sure how much was going to change in the story or what would be altered in terms of gameplay, but after witnessing how much effort was put into the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, I was a hopeful skeptic. I made sure to avoid any leaked footage, game news, and even official previews. I am sure I'm repeating what other YouTubers have said at this point, but any and all opinions are just from my own playthroughs. Now, let's get into today's review, Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, of course, this is a remake. Resident Evil 4's plot is kept relatively unchanged. Major beats are untouched, but there are minor adjustments that improve the experience, both for newcomers and old fans. Details like who Krauser was to Leon were displayed during his inner monologue at the start of the game. This now delivers a much better payoff when it is revealed to Leon that Krauser was still alive. And when you face off against Krauser, instead of a lame QuickTime event, you actually get to have an epic knife battle with him. Luis Serra is now more involved with Leon and sticks around helping out here and there compared to only fighting the Ganados in the village. Although different from the original, Luis Serra is still charming and funny and is given a much better presentation of who he is versus reading research memos he wrote down in the original. Even Ashley Graham delivers a much better performance than her original counterpart, and now no longer requires health items. You know, I really like this new Ashley. Oh, she's already been brainwashed. Put her back! Ada is more mysterious based on the minor role she has at this time. Unfortunately, there isn't a separate ways campaign after completing Leon's story. But you do get an idea that Ada is a good person deep down despite being a mercenary for hire.
So, we're talking millions of casualties.
Billions.
We're changing course, now.
Instead, in the remake, you learn more about the villains than you do about Ada. Taking the time to explore, you can find some notes and pictures of the village chief and Salazar when they were younger and before their infection of the Las Plagas. Also in the remake, Sadler has scriptures written on stones describing his manifesto, which somewhat rewrites who he was compared to the original. I always interpreted that Sadler used the Los Illuminados as a front to mind control everyone.
If you must know, my name is Osmond Sadler, the master of this fine religious community.
Ah, yes, the time has come for this lamb to join our covenant. Oh, blessings unto him and the sweet mercy they bring. Exalt all and let it be so.
In the remake, Sadler genuinely believes he's a savior figure. Although the story remains unchanged, the setting is a completely different story. The Resident Evil 4 remake looks drop-dead gorgeous. Every area was rebuilt with enhanced visuals that turn this remake into a completely fresh experience. Dense foliage covers village trails between areas, giving a much better representation of a secluded settlement in the mountainous region of Spain. The castle has multiple areas that have volumetric fog and dark areas that tunnel your vision. And the research island has been enhanced with redesigned labs and equipment that look convincingly real compared to some of the more cartoonish areas from the original. Now, each area was not only graphically enhanced, but was also redesigned. As a result, the village, castle, and island were reduced in size, but for the better. Levels are designed more vertically rather than horizontally. Now, every room is dense, with more content to discover and find treasures and keys for locked drawers. If cutout content in areas concern you, it really shouldn't. The developers for the remake were able to find this perfect blend between memorable elements and rooms from the original and fuse them into something new and creative. Despite anticipating bosses and potential jump scares from the original, several twists subverted my expectations. No matter what, this remake kept me on my toes. First and foremost, I highly recommend that you play the remake on hardcore mode, even if it's your first round. There were several combat scenarios where I got frustrated, but it was because I needed to adapt my strategies to areas that I thought I had mastered based on what I had learned from the original. More often than not, the game wants you to succeed. Generally, there are times when you're given just enough resources and ammo to figure out how to defeat particularly difficult enemies. There was only one instance where I needed to load an old save file to retrace my steps and rethink certain weapon upgrades when I was on the island. This mixed with new game mechanics made my experience challenging but extremely fun. The Resident Evil 4 Remake now has a plethora of new elements that make playing as Leon S. Kennedy super refreshing. Every combat encounter is spectacularly fast-paced compared to the original. Enemies are more aggressive and faster now that Leon can move while reloading and firing his weapon. When backed in a corner, Leon can successfully counter enemy attacks, whether it be a melee attack or knocking a thrown axe out of the air. Ammo can be created using gunpowder, large materials, and small materials. This balances the gameplay, determining which ammo would best benefit you compared to random drops. Stealth is now a welcome addition to Leon's combat tactics. For the first time, you can now remove enemies one by stabbing them with Leon's knife or shooting them with a silent bolt thrower. When employed properly, this saves Leon ammo and can now avoid larger enemy encounters. Not to mention, when facing off against the blind Wolverine, you can utilize this tactic by stabbing its Plagos in the back. You can still buy new weapons and upgrades from the merchant, but now you have the option to trade special items like treasure maps, attachments, and even free upgrade tickets for any weapon you own. Instead of cash, Leon must now collect spinels as a currency for these trade-offs. Spinels are now collected from completing side tasks that the merchant has throughout the story. These challenges range from the classic shoot the blue medallions to being an exterminator and fighting more powerful versions of enemies that Leon is faced off against. These challenges are another welcome addition, as it strongly incentivizes players to explore every crevice of the village, castle, and island. Next, even the shooting gallery has been given a major renovation. Instead of shooting Ganados and Ashley cutouts, Leon is now facing off against pirates, dogs, and sailors. You learn how different weapons handle, and you can earn medallions based on how well you score in each game. When Leon earns silver and gold medallions, he can use them for collecting case charms. Now, these charms can be attached to your case that either boost finding herbs, materials, ammo production, decrease weapon upgrade purchases, and increase how much money you earn when selling weapons or ammo. All of these greatly affect the outcome of what happens to Leon when he decides to go back to saving Ashley. All bosses in the remake have been redesigned to be more aggressive and theatrical. This is to match Leon's faster-paced combat since he can fire and reload while moving. Mendez chucks major pieces of 2x4s at Leon that he must sprint to avoid and shoot explosive barrels in his claws during the second phase. Salazar now moves around like a disgusting piranha version of Venom, dropping acidic mines and spewing acid like a hose. Last but not least, Sadler can now summon flying bugs to aid him when he's frustrated and eliminates sections of the battle arena to try and corner Leon. But you still get to kill Sadler with the special rocket launcher. Now, once you're done saving Ashley, you can once again entertain yourself with Mercenary Mode. In the remake, there have been some key updates to the Mercenary Mode gameplay. After getting enough kills in a row, each character can unlock their Boost Mode. This enhances their stats such as speed, weapon strength, and special abilities unique to their character. Krauser has his Plagas arms as deadly claws and lances, Hunk gets infinite ammo, and Luisera, now a playable character, drops dynamite. If you manage to kill 150 enemies before the time runs out, you survive the level and get a time bonus to your score. And even if you're killed, you still earn a score and a grade for that character's run, making it way easier to attain an S+ rank for every character and unlocking the hand cannon. All these improvements to graphics, characters, and gameplay unfortunately have this missing content all the more obvious though. Yeah, it's time to talk about this. The lack of a Separate Ways campaign is incredibly disappointing, and the fact Ada and Wesker are not playable characters in Mercenary Mode genuinely kinda sucks. I can understand removing Assignment Ada as it truly adds nothing to the story, but Separate Ways revealed what was happening behind the scenes in the original game. Hopefully, it comes out later as a free post-launch update like Mercenary Mode, but how things are today, I highly doubt it. Most likely, it will be paid DLC, which I'm going to purchase, but it's because I really want the full experience. This would be frustrating since Separate Ways was part of the original RE4, therefore, it should be included with the remake. Now, if this was a new DLC playing as Louis Serra in another campaign, then that would be different. The Resident Evil 4 Remake is the culmination of everything Capcom has learned from its previous games, and you feel the love and effort that was put into redesigning what I think is the gem in their series. From the get-go, every room, outdoor environment, and lab is extremely immersive, where you are entirely engaged with your environment. Not only that, it respects core memorable areas, brings amazing twists to keep you focused, and freshens up the gameplay in combat, upgrades, and boss fights. Mercenary mode is now revamped, with power-up modes unique to every character, giving a definitive feel for their playstyle. And yeah, you get to play as Louis Serra, something I am genuinely surprised I guessed correctly a while back. I must reiterate though that I'm disappointed that Separate Ways is not included after beating Hardcore mode and Professional mode. But this remake is truly stupendous, and I highly recommend new players, old players, any player in between really to play this remake. Now, with all that said and done, I give Resident Evil 4 Remake 9 headshots. Out of 10.
What can I say? I never miss.
Hi everybody, if you stuck around to the end of this video, I greatly appreciate it. I know this content is out much later compared to other channels, and I'm sure that the algorithm on YouTube has moved way past the Resident Evil 4 Remake. Anyway, if you liked what you saw, please give a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton as a small content creator, and I hope to get verified by the end of this year. So I would genuinely appreciate any support you can give. Anyway, that's it for today. My name is BirKey, and see what is in my corner next time.